Welcome to Enchanted Moments podcast. I'm Monica.
I'm Spencer.
And Creme Brulee, our ever-present purring person. Today we want to talk about Beltane, which is Friday, May 1st. Most people tend to celebrate it beginning at sunset on the 30th till sunset on the 1st, which I did not know. Mostly we just always did it during the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a fertility festival fire. Most people use the maypole as their significant symbol of May Day. It's used with red and white ribbons, and it used to be they would just hang there. And then in Victorian times, they got fancy and they started dancing and weaving this so every generation adds something special to the celebrations. But the early pagan population used it as a purification and fertility festival. So they built very large bonfires, usually two, and then had their cows, mostly cows, march through it in a purification process. They would also allow the smoke from those fires to go over the people, so that was like a giant smudging. And then it was all about the love. So it was a fertility, it's the last planting festival. So, but it was very interesting in the early days. The young ladies and men used to hang out all night in the forest, and then they were fertile. So we don't necessarily do that, but it's all about growth, new life, starting over. Beltane, it's great. It's a great holiday. The interesting thing about this particular Beltane is that we also have a full moon on this date this year in Scorpio, which, because of its arrival during a Taurus season, is about bringing out things that we no longer need. So when we're starting our new life and our new beginnings with Beltane, we're able to let go of those things that no longer serve us. We don't usually do that with the full moon, but because it's in Scorpio and it's hidden things and underneath all, we would be using it. If we choose to do full moon ceremonies, we can also do some letting go. Mostly because we're processing a new beginning. But because it's in Scorpio, in Taurus, that's a good time to do that.
I thought full moon things were about releasing.
Full moons are about bringing everything to fruition. So we normally would let go of things as we descend from the full to the new.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's usually that's the period of time when you're trying to unload, get rid of, release things, and then bring in things from the new moon to the full moon. So the full moon is basically really good for everything. I use it for everything. If you don't have a particular time during the month that makes sense to you, you can throw everything you do into the full moon, because it is all about visibility, bringing things to fruition, allowing the universe to see everything. So if you want to send messages, whatever, the full moon's a great time to do that. And because it's May Day, it's a good time to celebrate. So we can do work with the full moon, but also have a big old celebration because it's a beautiful spring. There are some excellent resources if you're looking for something about Beltane. This is the little Llewellyn Book of Beltane. It's 100% all about Beltane. So it gives you the history of Beltane, different affirmations for Beltane, different rituals, recipes. It's got the whole shebang in here. Okay, this little book is really, it's called The Magical Wheel of the Year, and it's written very easily and with lots of pictures, so you can use it for families and children, and it's all about the two sisters and their journey through the year. So that's also an interesting process. This is the old standby. This is the Dame McCoy, and she wrote this book a long time ago. but it has been my go-to Sabbath book forever. It is also published by Llewellyn, and it has all the same things. It has herbs, rituals, history, you name it, it's got it. So if you want a book for all celebrations, this is also good for everything. And then Llewellyn does publish little books for each of the Sabbaths.
And this is published by Moon and Bird.
Okay. But these are great resources if you want to look at things to do specifically for the holidays. I found out something new for Beltane, that many cultures, Welsh, especially the old Celtic ones, did Beltane bushes, which
Okay.
I never had heard of before. So I learn something new every year when I go through these resources to decide what I'm going to do for the holidays, and many people still do it.
What's a Beltane bush?
You just decorate the bush
Oh, okay.
as opposed to just, using the maypole.
Mm-hmm.
The other interesting thing is, because it's associated with feminine energy, basically, because it is a fire festival, which is masculine, but then because it's fertility, it's associated with divine feminine. When I was growing up, we did May Day celebrations
Mm-hmm.
by crowning Mary.
Mm.
Okay, so I was raised Roman Catholic. We had on May Day, which of course the Catholic Church took all the pagan holidays and made holidays for themselves out of them, but I never gave it a whole lot of thought. But we did May crowning, which we had woven crowns of wildflowers, and then we had a celebration outside and our giant statue of Mary, and we did a May crowning ritual, which I never gave it any thought. I always liked it. I always felt positive about it. I always thought it was sort of like the Divine Mother energy, but obviously it was the maiden, not the mother, part of the triple goddess,
Mm-hmm.
because of being in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to look at life and think about all the things that you've done, because I never thought about it until now, and that was many, many years ago. But we all wore white uniforms, so we wore white blouses and skirts, and we had woven flowers, and we crowned Mary, which, was a celebration of her in the Catholic faith, but actually more a universal celebration of the maiden
Mm-hmm.
for fertility, which, hey, you never know what you're going to remember back in the olden days. But Beltane is a celebration, and regardless of how you choose to do it, I would recommend lighting a candle to represent the fire, because we're not out building bonfires anymore, although they still do in Europe, the Beltane fires. And it's important to honor those periods of time in which we pass through the year. And it's a great one, because after that comes the harvest, where this is the
Mhm.
last planting. So have a great Beltane, enjoy your full moon celebrations on Friday, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Take care.